Franny K. Stein, Mad Scientist, Book 6, The Fran With Four Brains. Chapter 11, Can I Make You a Sandwich? Igor ran and got Franny one of her best smashers. This won't work, Igor. I made the Franbots too strong to be smashed to bits. Igor ran and got her a screwdriver. Good thinking, Igor, but I can't just disassemble them. The three of them work together. They would easily overpower me before I untwisted the first screw. Igor ran and got her suitcase and some brochures of nice vacation destinations. We can't just run away, Igor. They'll get Mom, they'll get my family, and then they'll get the whole world. They heard the Franbots preparing to come after them. It's time. Let's take care of Franny, one of them hissed. Suddenly, Igor ran off. Igor, you coward! I guess it's all up to me, Franny whispered, wishing that she had taught Igor something about teamwork. But as fast as Igor had vanished, he returned and was doing his best Franny impersonation. And although it wasn't perfect, it was good enough to fool the Franbot. I'm Franny. I'd like to do brain transplants. There she is, one of them yelled, and choosing a selection at random from its huge memory bank of recipes, Franbot number 3 blasted Igor with its food ray. Franny watched in horror as they picked up what was left of Igor and put it in a little bag. The Franbot had transformed him into a tuna fish sandwich. Igor sacrificed himself to save me, Franny said. I guess maybe I did teach him something about teamwork. Soon they will all be luncheon delicacies, the Franbots cheered. Let's do it right now, one of them yelled. No, first we must practice our skills. Nothing is more important. They all agreed that was the better idea, and they went their separate ways to practice their bagpipes, soccer, and gourmet cooking before they destroyed the world and turned everybody into tuna fish sandwiches. How can I stop them? Franny whispered to herself. She knew it was all up to her. Franny looked over at the assortment of medieval swords she had collected. She wondered if she could at least damage the Franbots badly enough to help her family escape. But then poor little Igor would have to live the rest of his life as a tuna fish sandwich, and the Franbots would ultimately destroy the whole world anyway, no matter how far Franny and her family ran. No, she would need something mightier than the sword. Chapter 12. Yeah, but what's mightier than a sword? I know, Franny said, and she picked up a pen. She quickly drew a big screw on her chest and some lines on her sleeves to look like the Franbot's segmented arms and legs. She drew screws on her face and stood as stiffly as she could. I hope this works, she whispered. Franny knew that if her performance showed any lack of confidence, the Franbots would see right through her disguise. The Franbots were scattered all over the lab, busy practicing their various excellent skills. Franny walked right up to Franbot number 1, who was playing the bagpipes, and in the most mechanical voice she could fake, she asked, Practicing for the recital tomorrow, are you? The Fran bot looked up. Recital, it repeated, totally fooled by Franny's drawdown screws and segments. That's right, Franny said. A recital. Everybody will be there. Everybody will be watching. Everybody will be judging your performance to see if you're really excellent or not. Fran bot number 1 looked worried. How do you think I'll do? It said. Franny shook her head sadly. Average. The other players can play much louder and hold the notes much longer. But I must be excellent. The Fran bot whimpered. I've also heard that several of them can hit a high J note. Franny added. There's no such thing as a J note. The Fran bot scoffed. The musical scale doesn't go up to J. Maybe your scale doesn't, but don't worry about it. I'm sure you'll be okay. That wasn't good enough for Fran bot number 1. It was driven to be excellent, and that's exactly what it planned to be. Determined to hit the impossibly high note that Franny had made up, it gathered up all of its breath, put its steel lips over the mouthpiece of the bagpipe, and blew all of its guts right into the bag. Now deactivated, it fell over with a heavy clank, and Franny hurried off to find Fran bot number 2. Chapter 13. Get your head in the game. The next Fran bot was reading a book about soccer. Franny used her mechanical voice again. I guess you're studying up for the game tomorrow, she said. Fran bot number 2 looked up. What game? It said. I didn't hear anything about a game. Sure you did. The coach said it's going to be a power game. It will be all about kicking hard, but don't worry too much. You're not the worst player on the team. Wait a second. I thought I was the best player on the team. It said. Maybe you could be, Franny said, if you could kick a little harder. Fran bot number 2 threw down the book it was reading. I can kick harder than anybody on the team. I can kick harder than anybody in the world, it said, and began practicing viciously powerful kicks. Franny watched for a moment. Is that as high as you can kick? She said. This isn't high enough. The Fran bot huffed. I guess it's okay. Some of the other players can kick much higher, but I suppose this is pretty good for you. How high can they kick? One of them can kick herself right in the face, Franny said. She's excellent. Oh, yeah, the Fran bot shouted, unable to accept the idea that it wasn't the best kicker on the team. Determined to prove how excellent it was, Fran bot number 2 drew its leg way back and kicked itself with devastating force right in its own face, which, if you are a Fran bot, turns out to be one of the very best ways to take your head clean off. The demolished Fran bot fell over with a heavy clunk. 2 down, Franny said, and mechanically turned to go find the 3rd Fran bot, but to her surprise, she discovered it was already standing directly behind her.